Man, there are so many things going on in life, in so many different facets of life, that my brain has a million thoughts going on at one time. Maybe you can relate. And I haven't sat down in front of a camera for a while and kind of given you a little bit of a life update. And this isn't going to be entirely a life update video. I think I'm going to do that in the coming weeks because I do have so much to share. But I wanted to make this video because one thought has been going through my head a ton lately. And I hope that maybe you as a creative or an entrepreneur, whatever you are, whoever you are that watches this video, maybe you can relate and maybe this can be somewhat motivating to you in some capacity. The thought is this: it's okay to change your mind on things and bounce around with different ideas and different things when you want to. Years ago, when I went full-time into video production, that was what had me fired up. The idea of creating videos for a living and turning it into a business that created videos for other people as a living was something that really, really fired me up. And it's not that I don't enjoy creating videos anymore, and I still do create videos and still will continue to create videos for myself and for clients. But I've started to realize that it's okay to pursue other passions and not necessarily get permission to do so. I think it can be easy that when we start something, no matter how excited we are about it at the beginning, it can be easy to get frustrated with ourselves if we lose passion for the things that once excited us. It can be even harder if you're a solo business owner and you work kind of by yourself and the thing that is making you money is no longer keeping you excited, and yet because you're a solo entrepreneur or business owner, if you stop, the income stops with it. That can be a very difficult challenge. I know it can be because I've been there as well. It can be difficult to say, well, I have to keep doing this whether I like it or not because that's what makes me money. The problem is then you can easily fall into the same trap that most people do working for other people, and that is that you can fall into the trap of chasing money versus chasing what you actually really want to do. I've always said there's nothing wrong with working for somebody else because some of the perks of working for somebody else is that if you get tired of doing what you're doing, you can basically move on to a new career and someone else will hire you and you'll start making money doing that. It's difficult when you are the business owner, the solo entrepreneur, the solo video maker, whatever you do for work by yourself. It's a whole different story when you're talking about changing careers, but you're the owner of things. You see, when that's the case, you really only have a couple options. You either have to start a side hustle and build the side hustle for as long as it takes you to make it your primary hustle, or you have to continue grinding through what could be a career-long misery to you if you continue doing something that you're not passionate about. See, I'm an Enneagram 7, and if you don't know about the Enneagrams, I really find them valuable. But an Enneagram 7 is someone who basically is full of ideas and constantly is looking for new adventures and new things in life. If you followed my channel for a while, which I'm not sure if you have or not, that is absolutely how my brain is wired, which is why I've started multiple businesses. I've bought businesses. I've shut down businesses. I've moved into this direction on my YouTube channel and this direction on my YouTube channel. It's how I'm wired. And over the last year or so, I've started to really realize, you know what? It's in my wiring to be the way that I am. And why am I getting frustrated at myself for the way that I'm wired? I can sometimes get frustrated with myself that I can't necessarily stay excited about something for a long period of time or stay focused on something for a long period of time. But the reality is it's just how I am. In the same way that there are people that can stay incredibly focused on details day after day after day, but can't come up with any new concepts, it's no different for them. You could be frustrated with them that they are not naturally creative or that they are not naturally gifted to pursue new ideas, but they're wired differently than we are, than I am, than you are. I guess what I'm trying to say is it's okay to change. It's okay if you go through something for a couple of years that really excites you and you pursue an idea that really excites you, and then suddenly it doesn't excite you anymore. It's not your fault that that happens. Some people have an incredible gift to be able to keep their head focused on something and continue to pursue that one and only thing for an extended period of time. Others, and I think myself, are not really wired that way. And I've gotten frustrated with myself for many, many years because I know that anything that excites me eventually won't excite me anymore. I've gotten frustrated and tried to think about solutions. How do I make this excitement last longer? How do I stay more focused on this task for many more years? Why am I in such a cycle of every couple of years wanting to change things up and pursue different things? Well, the truth is, because it's just how I'm wired, and nothing can change that. See, I definitely have ADHD. I'm 100% convinced of that. And yes, medications could maybe help a person with ADHD to stay more focused on something. But my natural personality and my natural Enneagram personality that I am, focus is one part of the problem of not being able to focus on something. But there's not really a medication, I think, that solves someone that's just naturally wired to just want to do different things and want to move on at times and want to pursue something that sounds crazy to everybody else and just move on and do something different. Some people move on from things because it's not making them money, so they realize like, hey, even though I love playing the piano, it's just maybe not what I should pursue as my full-time job. That's one part of the equation. With me, it actually has nothing to do with whether or not something is successful. I've had the privilege of building my video production company for the last bunch of years, and it's very profitable, and it's been a great business. But it doesn't mean that that just naturally will keep me excited with that specific thing forever. Because to me, the idea of chasing something new doesn't usually have entirely anything to do with whether or not it makes money. For me, it's just about whether or not it sounds exciting for me to continue doing it. And maybe you can relate. Some people give me a hard time, and some people, because they so cannot relate to the way that my brain operates, I can frustrate certain people. I can make people be frustrated with the fact that I don't necessarily stay fully focused on something or on something for an extended period of time. I can totally understand why some people would be frustrated, and I can totally understand why some people can't understand it whatsoever. But also there are certain things about those people that I cannot fathom whatsoever. And I want to say to you as a creative, if you're someone that's somewhat wired like me, if you're an Enneagram 7 watching this, you definitely can relate to what I'm saying. But it is okay to move on. It is okay to not continue to be excited about something. It is okay that every couple of years, maybe for you, the thing that got you so fired up to wake up and do doesn't get you fired up anymore. I have not found a magical solution to make me continue to be passionate about one thing for an extended period of time. But here is what's been an absolute hack for me that I think is something for you as a potential Enneagram 7 or a person that moves on from things. Here's some advice that I could give you of what I've found to be a good hack. When I first went full-time into video production, it was really me doing mostly everything. And every once in a while, maybe I'd have people here and there help me with something, but I was the business owner. And I loved the freedom. I liked not having to worry about employees. I liked not having to worry about payroll, all that kind of stuff. It was great. The problem is, what I quickly realized is, well, if I build a huge business, but it's just me that runs the business, that business can never operate when I decide to move on from the thing that I started. But let's just say I know that my cycle is 2 to 3 years where I can stay excited about the potential of something before I know that I'm realistically going to maybe get bored with that and need to move on. Well, if I know that I'm wired that way, and I know that I'm probably going to move on at some point, I've changed my mindset to say any business that I'm excited about potentially starting, I need to build from scratch with the intent of building a team to operate on the things that excite me so that when they don't excite me anymore, other people can continue to work on those things. Because like I said, not everyone's wired like me. There are people that are excited to do the things that aren't necessarily exciting for you anymore. And instead of getting frustrated with yourself for the fact that you worked really hard for 2, 3, 4, 5 years and now you're suddenly bored and was it all a waste? Well, it doesn't feel like a waste anymore because now you can continue to have what excited you, excite other people while still having a financial side of that pays you for the hard work you put in. See, I think where we get ourselves in trouble as Enneagram 7s is that we get frustrated that it's time for us to move on because we realize we are now stuck having to keep doing that same thing over and over simply because it's the only way we now make money. But now you've got yourself in trouble because you have to try to convince yourself that you're suddenly not tired of that thing that you started, that you were excited about. So here's my number one tip that I would give to an Enneagram 7. Surround yourself with people that help you execute the things that you're excited about, and look at every opportunity you have as an opportunity to take what you're currently excited about, turn it into a potential business, build a team that can continue to execute and operate that business, even if it means you make less money doing it, because it allows you to make money long term with it as it continues past the excitement that you initially had. See, I could do all the video stuff myself if I chose. When I build my business, that's how I started. I could have chose to continue going down that same path, and I could have made a lot more money just hustling like crazy and doing all the work myself and paying nobody else except for me. I could make a lot more money. Problem is, when I'm ready to move on, that money goes from full income to zero income. Versus me taking less money, hiring people to help me execute, and then when I move on from something, the money can still continue without me doing anything else in that business. Does that make sense? In the same way that no one can understand how an Enneagram 7 operates and thinks and why they get so tired of things and move on, you also can't relate to them and how things fire them up that wouldn't fire you up. I've made the mistake at times of thinking that simply because I am ready to move on from something, that everyone else in my company or everyone else that's doing the work that I'm doing as well is also tired of it, when that's not necessarily the case. Of course, people get bored. Of course, people prefer certain things more than others, but they're not wired like me. So they also are okay continuing to do the work they're doing, and that's okay. What I'd also recommend as an Enneagram 7 is that you don't surround yourself with other 7s, meaning they're not the ones that are working underneath you, if that makes sense. Because those people, similar to you, will want to continue to move on, and that won't help you. You need to surround yourselves with personality types that are executors, that do excellent work, and that aren't wired to think of something new nonstop, but are wired to basically support people like you. This has been game-changing for me, and at the season I'm at, and I'll do another episode based on the season that I'm at, and the stuff that's basically happening in life, I'm now realizing that's the unlock. The unlock to success as an Enneagram 7. Surrounding yourself with people that help you execute past the time that you're no longer as passionate about executing on the thing that you started. I have so much more to say on this topic. But if you can relate to this, comment below, because I feel like I'm probably not the only one thinking about this. Hopefully this helped you.